The first time Lena felt the rope bite against her wrists, she realized that fear was not the worst thing a person could feel, hopelessness was. But even then, standing in the dusty square under a punishing sun, she clung to a stubborn spark inside herself. The spark that whispered she deserved a life she chose, not one chosen for her. That spark, fragile as it was, kept her heart alive when everything else around her tried to crush it. She refused the marriage. She refused the man who tried to claim her. And for that defiance, they sought to break her spirit, to warn others. But though the punishment was cruel, Lena kept her chin raised. Every crack of the whip was met with the silent promise that she would not surrender her future to fear. She had no plan, no escape, no hero coming to rescue her, just that stubborn spark, flickering but unextinguished. Word travels quickly across the open plains, especially to those who ride them alone. On the far edge of the desert, a cowboy named Colton had been drifting from town to town with only his horse and the memory of a family he once had. He was a quiet man, too quiet, some said, carrying sorrow folded deep inside him like a worn letter he couldn't bring himself to burn. He didn't expect to stop in Dust Rock. He certainly didn't expect to find a crowd gathered around a young woman being punished for choosing her own life. And he didn't expect something in his heart, something he believed long dead, to jolt awake. Colton had seen many hard things in his travels, but the look in Lena's eyes struck him harder than any blow he had ever taken, a look both fierce and exhausted, proud yet trembling, like someone balancing on the final edge of what the soul can bear. He didn't know her story, but he recognized a truth he couldn't ignore: nobody should face the world alone while fighting to survive it. When the crowd dispersed and Lena collapsed to her knees, her breath unsteady, Colton dismounted his horse and approached slowly. He didn't touch her. He didn't speak at first. He simply crouched down, letting her see the kindness in his eyes before offering his canteen. Lena hesitated. She'd learned too well that kindness often came with a price, but her body needed the water, and her spirit needed the gentleness more. She drank. And in that small, shaking moment, something between them settled like a quiet understanding. "They'll come for me," she whispered hoarsely. "I know," Colton answered. "They'll say you're helping a criminal." "I don't see a criminal," he said simply. "I see someone who deserves a chance." The simplicity of his words undid her. Not pity. Not heroism. Just recognition. He helped her onto his horse, holding her steady without gripping too tightly, and guided them toward the open plains before the town's anger could reignite. Lena watched the desert blur past, feeling the ache in her back throb with every step of the horse. But she also felt something else. Something she hadn't felt in years. Possibility. They traveled for hours in silence, broken only by the rustle of wind through dry brush and Colton's quiet reassurances when the pain grew too sharp. As the sun dipped low, turning the sky a tender orange, he led her to a small, abandoned cabin, nothing more than weathered wood and a half-stable roof, but it was shelter. Safety. A place no one else knew. Inside, Colton lit a small lantern and carefully handed her a blanket. When he finally spoke again, his voice was gentle enough to make her chest tighten. "You're safe with me." Lena had heard promises before, promises shattered as easily as glass, but something about Colton's words felt different. He wasn't asking her to trust him. He was offering trust first. Quietly. Freely. As the night deepened, she told him her story. How she'd been promised to a man twice her age, how she refused to give up her dreams of being a healer, of traveling to places she'd only read about. How her refusal turned her entire town against her. Colton listened without interruption, his eyes never leaving hers. When she finished, he took a slow breath. "You were brave," he said. "I was terrified. Bravery don't mean you ain't scared. It means you choose what's right anyway." The words fell over her like balm on an open wound. In the days that followed, healing became their shared rhythm. Colton tended her wounds with surprising gentleness. Lena cooked small meals over the cabin's fire. They spoke of little things, favorite seasons, childhood stories, the stars overhead, slowly stitching a fragile trust between them. Lena realized she wasn't just healing from her injuries, she was healing from years of fear, doubt, and feeling unworthy of kindness. One evening, as they sat outside watching the moon rise, Lena turned to him. "Why did you help me?" You didn't even know my name. Colton looked at the sky for a long moment before answering. Because once, someone saved me when I didn't think I was worth saving. A stranger. A good woman. She believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. I lost her a long time ago, but what she gave me in kindness, mercy, I figured maybe I was meant to pass it on. Lena felt a warmth bloom in her chest. Not romantic love, at least not yet, but deep gratitude, respect, and something precious she hadn't felt in years, hope. But just as healing began, fate tested them. Riders from Dustrock appeared on the horizon one morning, sent to drag Lena back and punish anyone who aided her. Lena's breath hitched, panic rising like a tide. They'll hurt you, she whispered. You should let them take me. I won't let you suffer because of me. Colton stepped in front of her, shoulders squared, eyes fierce. Lena, listen. You deserve a life you choose. And no one, no town, no man, no fear, gets to take that from you. Not while I'm still breathing. In that moment, Lena saw not a lonely cowboy but a man standing against the world with nothing but courage and conviction. And she realized something, the spark inside her wasn't alone anymore. It had found a place to grow into a flame. When the riders finally confronted them, Lena stepped forward, not hiding behind Colton but beside him. She spoke with a steadiness that surprised even herself. She declared she would not return, that she had committed no crime, and that she would build a life on her own terms, no matter how far she had to travel. Something in her voice, strength sharpened by pain, made the riders falter. They hadn't come expecting a woman who could not be broken. And they hadn't expected a man willing to stand with her, not out of obligation, but out of principle. Eventually, the riders rode away, defeated not by force, but by conviction stronger than their cruelty. When the dust settled, Lena turned to Colton, tears filling her eyes. You didn't just save my life, she whispered. You gave it back to me. Colton tipped his hat lightly, a shy smile touching his lips. Sometimes all a person needs is someone to stand beside him. As the sun rose behind them, painting the world gold, Lena knew her story wasn't one of suffering, it was one of reclamation, of courage, of the unexpected kindness that can change everything. And so, with a heart no longer trembling but beating strong, she whispered the words she once never believed she'd feel. I'm finally free.